How are you guys? I'm making a short video to show you how I set up an electrical configuration for my 2017 Chevy Suburban. And the first thing or the reason I set up the electrical system is to support the snow plow. You can see from the front, I installed a front heat receiver and also have Anderson plug actually coming from the battery to support the connection to the plow. Let me show you very quickly my snow plow. Here's my snow plow. It's a lightweight. It's basically home plow made by a manufacturer called the Mayer. Basically, right, so this electrical, initially when I bought this one, it's supported by the wireless button. I figured that the signal actually during the cold weather and also depending on the battery of the remote control is not reliable, so I converted to a wired. And you can see this is the basically Anderson connector, right, so that I showed you earlier, and I always show later also as well from the vehicle how it's connected to this Anderson plug. Coming back to the vehicle, so let me get inside the vehicle, and also I installed a control button here, right? This is a whatever they call it, maybe a free like momentary electrical control. Basically this is the up and down, right? So for the snow plow control, you basically press up and the snow is going up, right? And then you release and it will automatically return to the middle position, which is not being connected to the plug, but to the snow plow, right? And the press down is basically bring down the plug. So this is the 2017 Chevy Suburban, right? So the installation actually, the way I did at least, right? So you basically can see the panel here, and then you can access actually the side panel. You can remove this panel very easily, and once you remove this panel, you can access the inside in this area, and allows you to install the control button here. So that's what I did. And you can see another button here. This I'm gonna talk a little bit later. But you can see the wires actually is coming from. You actually can see the wire from here, right? The wires to connect to the button for the control, and also the wire actually need to get a battery as well, connection as well. So you can see you can go in through here. They call it door jam or whatever, right? And then there's a hole you can from the wires coming from here and go through inside, and then from here you can get into the hole, and then that's getting to the engine bay, right, for the connections to the battery or all that good stuff. So let me open up the trunk, not trunk, sorry, the engine bay cover, and just show you very quickly. Okay, so let's just start from maybe the control, right? The control we talk about is coming, from the button, and from the inside the control, and then goes to connect to the battery itself. So here is my connection to the battery. Let's see, yeah, this is the one. So you can look at this wire. This wire connects to the positive from the battery, and then there's a fuse. Immediately is the fuse. I believe I put a 38 fuse here for the snow plow, and then this actually goes all the way, here along those the engine bay, connected to. I used a couple of plugs just so that I can switch to the different appliance if I need to, right? And then goes to the inside of that the control button for the control, and then obviously the electrical wire need to go down to the wire itself. Let me try to see where that is. Yeah, I think it's it's kind of a little messy, you can see, but it's basically the wires is coming connected to here eventually from here. This actually is after the bottom control. You can switch it up and down and turn it on, and the wire will be going down to the all the way to the bottom, and also connect to the front of the hitch. So it's basically hitting here. So every time that I use it, I just kind of grab that and then connect to my plow, right? So that's the hitch receiver that we talked about earlier. That's the physical connection where you can mount the snow plow. Okay, so that's basically my setup for the snow plow. Pretty straightforward, right? So the only thing I wanted to do, probably also to note, is for the Chevy vehicles, they have a sensing ring. What is it called? Let me see what that is. Yeah, it's right here. So let me zoom in. You can see this is a ring, right? So this ring actually is basically sensing the electrical volume or current going through the whole circuit, right? So if you connect to the snow plow, and then the negative will be returning from there. So I'm gonna be going through that wire through that ring, so that is also being included in that the sensing mechanism. So the sensing mechanism allows the vehicle to decide, how much current or power need to drive the alternator, right, at the real time. So I think that's important to note. So the key point there is when you return the negative connection to the power to the battery, make sure that the wire go through that ring. That's all. Okay, so now let's talk about the dual battery setup, right? So I have a dual battery. Let me show you very quickly. As you know, for the Chevy truck, like a Suburban, Silverado, you have a space for the dual battery. So right now you can see I do have a deep cycle battery setup here as a dual battery here. So you can see the way I set up the snow plow is a direct connect to the car battery, and using that return cable to so that the vehicle can sense how much alternator current to support the both. When you use the snow plow, that's basically what it is. So the dual battery is a little bit different. So the dual battery give you the ability that you can run some of the appliance, lighting, things like that, without the vehicle running, and you will not risk not be able to start the vehicle, because the battery is actually draw the current from your second battery, right? Second battery need to be somehow isolated from your main battery. Main battery will be used to start the vehicle, right? So that's the whole idea. So the way to set up my setup, right? There's different ways you can find to set up the dual battery. So the way I set up, so let me walk through the whole system here. So the way I set up, I first of all connect to the the positive, right? The positive of the main battery. So I have the control to the different, especially for the charger. We're gonna talk a little bit later, right? So basically, this is actually the main battery when the car is running, and this main battery as a DC current. Okay, this is DC power. Connect to, this is a circuit breaker. I have 48 circuit breaker here, and this is actually all the way goes to the the DC to DC charger. So DC to DC charger is pretty safe way of charging battery. So in other words, this actually is getting the supplying the current from your car's main battery, which is connected to the fuse, and come to this is a DC charger, DC to DC charger, and then obviously the destination is actually charging this dual battery, right? So it's DC to DC. That's why it's called, right? So the key point here is that you don't want to let this charger to run when the car is not running. Otherwise, you're gonna drain all the currents or the power from the main battery, right? And while charging this dual battery, so that's very, very important. For this charger actually has a relay control, basically the signal to let it run or not let it run, shut it down, right? So the signal actually is coming from the vehicle's running fuse status. So if you look at this wire, let me see. Okay, this is a wire actually is part of the DC to DC charger. I'm using the Renogy DC-DC charger. You don't have to be, kind of a big sort of a charger like a 30A or 60A. I decided to use a 20A because this happens while charging during the car is running, right? So depending on your needs, obviously, I think the 20A smaller amp is good for me, for my usage, right? So anyway, so back to this, the red wire. This red wire is a signal wire. It's taking the input from the vehicle to signal this charger when they should be running or not be running, right? So when the car is shut down, you don't want to have this running, right? So that's important. So this one actually is connected to, it's hard to see from here, but this is coming from the fuse box, which is underneath this charger. And this fuse box actually has a fuse from the vehicle, fuse control. It's basically a signal when the car is running. That's basically what it is. And I use what they call a tag alone. Basically, a tag connector allows you to tag to your current fuse where you have a fuse to indicate the car is running, and basically to connect there and take the signal as the input for this charger. So, the problem perfectly, solved, right? So when the car is running, this charger will be running, charge your DC, the dual second battery. When the car is shut down, and basically the signal, is not there, and then the charger will shut down as well. So this is a great way, and then also I think it's a safe way to separate your main the battery circuit from your dual battery. So from there, right, from your dual battery, actually is up to you how you want to use this, right? So for me, I use this one for the accessory, sort of lighting, things like that. So there's a few things I use for, right? So when I plow my plow the snow. So the one thing I did is also add another control button inside the vehicle. Let me show you very quickly. This is the second button I'm talking about. So this one I wired to the dual battery. So if I press this on, you can see this runs on the dual battery, the second battery, and this one is used as a warning light. You can see from here, you can see this is warning light when I plow my snow plow, right? So you can see the both sides. I have that, and also I have a front as well. Let me quickly show you. See, this runs on the second battery, so I'm not gonna worry about the whole batteries will be drained, because I don't gonna risk anything, not be able to start my vehicle using the main battery, right? So this is just a press the button and the car doesn't have to be running. So that's the one. And also you probably noticed that I have another light here. So this one, this one is a pretty cheap like overall lighting. So this one actually I added simply wanted to make the rear area lighter, more visible during the night when I put my gear into the backup mode, right? So this is basically just make the area more visible, right, during the night. That's all. So that's basically attached to the battery, as well as controlled by a relay controlled by the backup or rear. So when basically by the backup light, that's take the backup light as the input for the relay, and then relay goes to those two lighting. That's how that works. So this only works or only turn it on when the car put in the backup mode. Okay. So also to make things more interesting, right? So if you keep adding the more lighting, things like that, obviously you're gonna consider how to add the control. So recently I also did another thing. So look at the from the dual battery, I want to add more electrical lighting, things like that. So I decided to add a fuel control box so that you can have a more output to the different lighting. So the one I did is this lighting at the front. So this one actually also helped me to make the whole area brighter, lighter, easy to see during the night, and especially during the camping area, you can turn on this light. Once again, this runs on the dual battery, so I'm not gonna worry about drain the whole battery, right? So I can recharge that when the cars start running the game. Anyway, so this lighting, I need to consider how to add another control. So this is another way, right? So depending on your usage. So I decided to add a wireless control. So this is basically a control. So this is pretty cheap from the Amazon, and I have a wireless control module when I purchased this one. And the whole idea is that you have that control module. Instead of using the physical button inside your vehicle, you have to drill the hole. So basically, I use that to control this light, and then I just simply press the button. I think they have a very nice, like a distance control, like maybe 50 feet or something. It's probably also you can receive the signal, right, depending on your setup. But anyway, so I just press the button, right, as you can see here, and the lighting is on, and put this off, right, and then it's controlled through the wireless button, right. So I think this is pretty nice, especially as I mentioned. I'm not gonna use this one for my snow plow. I need more reliable. But for this one, right, for the lighting, it's okay, especially for my use case here. So I thought that's a good way to avoid some of the wiring. You can use a wireless control, and it's not expensive. And also, I think it's pretty reliable. Through the longer distance. So that's, I think, all I have to walk through. So the key components, right? You have a fuse when you connect it from the positive for the power, from the battery, and then DC to DC charger to the dual battery, and then from the battery you can be creative, use that for support the different things, right? The lighting is probably the most common thing, but obviously you can use that for the different things. Anyway, so hope the video is helpful for you. I haven't covered a lot of the details, right? The things I use, the parts I use. So if you have a question, feel free to post down there, and I will respond when I get a chance. So thank you very much for watching. Take care.